by facilitating that.
So this KBX,
Yes.
was it a mobile vehicle?
It was not in moving state. I mean, it was, because since it was placed there, it has never moved, even up to now.
Has it ever driven her? Has it ever driven her to and from home?
The driver?
The vehicle itself.
The
Ashabebwa na hiyo gari?
No.
Hajabebwa?
I mean, it doesn't move.
So the vehicle was just a tool
Yeah.
used to as a conduit to ensuring her son was employed.
That would be my testimony.
Good. What about the second son?
Yeah, the second son was among 9 officers who came in through a delegated authority that I say was manufactured.
Sorry, before you go there, just hold on there. Talk about this impersonation of somebody saying they are PWD. Was a driver employed for her because she was a PWD?
Yes, you see, the explanation was why she was now getting a driver and not the rest of us is because, she said she's been sick, she was now unable to drive herself, and that kind of story. So to justify getting a driver, and I think also to justify the story of her being allocated a vehicle and not the other people. Yeah. So that came out from her. I'm one of those persons who questioned that. And because I knew when that is the case, you don't just explain, you produce evidence, which makes it very easy. So I could see it was a lie right from the beginning.
So talk about the second son.
Yeah, sometime in, I think August 2020, a delegated authority was purported to have been requested from the office of the DG. That is usually a practice that you would find when the need is there. But for this one, the deputy governor was in office since 2017. Ourselves came in 2020. And when you look at the list of, the 9, you'll find a position like chef and gardeners, and you would wonder whether the DG was without a chef for all that time. So that tells you, again, that one was manufactured to facilitate that. When you look closely at, when you look at the list, you will realize a scheme that when you read the full name of the child, of the son, you'll find in most of the documents, Sereka will be concealed, through the various stages. Until now, the final, I think at the payroll, now is when you find now the surname Sereka, because now there, the 3 names must be there. So again, you come into face to face with somebody who is not declaring interest, nepotism at its best, and so on and so forth. So that way, 9 officers came into the payroll. Again, this is a son who was placed on job group K. Job group K is mostly the pre-serve of those who have a first degree. The son doesn't have. So
What's the qualification of the son?
I think he has a diploma. But also now you get to also realize the son was placed as a communication officer 1, earning, I think, 38,270. But a few months later, And because something else also was happening, also chaired by the mom, the same officers were converted into permanent and pensionable. And at the same time, while that was happening, the son was now again promoted or upgraded to communication officer 2 at 51, you know, like that. So
Within
I
a
mean, that's
span, within a span of how long?
8 months. It is
8 months.
And even as now as we sit here,
8 months. Somebody was moved from
job group, okay, this is, the job group remains, but communication officer 1 to communication officer 2, those in terms of earnings are different.
What's the
Kindly
difference, sir?
tell us about this Regina Wakio.
Yes,
Regina Wakio is daughter to the chairperson.
to the chair, yes.
So you say the vice chairman convened a meeting
Yes,
and gave extraneous allowances to Regina with others,
yes,
and Regina is working as deputy sub-county administrator, right?
yes,
Under job group P,
yes.
and she also earns the extraneous
Allowance, yes.
So where is she currently working at?
All the time she has been in these offices, moving from, there's a time she was in the office of the governor, there is a time she was around the office of the county secretary, and I think now she's still somewhere there. You see, along with all this that we are talking about and documenting, there is also a scheme of them to make sure that, you know, their kids appear to be placed where you know, there is a bit of shade. Because you would expect a sub-county administrator deputy to be somewhere in Modedeni or, you know, like that, getting used to borders and those kind of things. But those ones are here, and there are many.
And she has never worked as a sub-county administrator?
To the best of my knowledge, she has never gone to any sub-county.
How many sub-county administrators and deputies do we have?
I think we have around 50 something going to 60. Yeah. But certainly over 50.
With 8 sub-counties?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Mr. Franklin,
Yes.
and matters decided by a committee brought to the full board for adoption.
Yes.
And my other question would be, were you aware that Ms. Sereka had been injured and needed a motor vehicle from the board?
I was never aware that she was injured. And what, you know, all there is. I remember when I was during vetting and I was in this house, and I think one of the honorable members was present here. The majority leader that time could not understand when he looked at my papers and realized I have documents for persons living with a disability. And that is expected because the last time he had seen me in the 90s, we were both very strong, could dance over 6 hours, and the dances of that time was quite some work. Break dance, bendovers, and all that. So he could not understand what happened to me. Yeah? But I had an accident, and knowing, you know, he didn't know. But at least apart from, I mean, without explaining all that, you produce document, because it's doctors who declare. Yeah? So I did not expect, even if I didn't know, at least she should have had a card, and that would have settled the matter.
Okay, thank you. For Wakili, the floor is yours.
Yes, Mr. Makola.
Yes.
You have never seen a medical document for Cecilia, indicating that she was injured?
In this case, I didn't need documents. What the people living with the disability, and I'm one of them, we have a card.
Did she present or declare herself to be a person with disability?
She did.
Do you have the minutes where she declared to be a person with disability?
I don't have them here, but
You
I
don't
know
have.
somewhere they're there.
You don't have. And you have talked about a car.
Yes.
Has she ever used that car at one point?
It is possible, yes.
It is possible.
Yes.
So, if you say it is possible and then you go and allege that the car has never been used, which is the correct position?
The correct position is that it could be used for 1 or 2 days, which is what I'm talking about, and then after that is placed on stones, which is the
Okay.
case even now.
And is it wrong for a person to request for a vehicle, and in this distance where they provide medical documents showing that they are injured and they are not able to move around with ease? Anything wrong with that?
What is wrong is the lie, when you are lying.
No, I'm asking, is there anything wrong with presenting documents and saying that I'm injured? Is there anything wrong with
Yeah, it is wrong when you are presenting those documents to me and all my other members, because they are not doctors. It is wrong.
Did you, as a board, did you investigate to confirm whether the documents were authentic or false?
It is not within our mandate to do that, and because we knew it's a lie.
So you didn't bother?
It's not within our, we don't want to engage.
Through the chair, Bwana Wakili, what do you understand by people living with a disability?
There is a law which protects the person with disability, and they are entitled to their own benefits. In this instance, we are submitting that at no particular point did Cecilia misrepresent that she's a person with disability. The only, and that should be the query, is whether the documentation she provided were genuine or not.
But I'm asking that because there is injury and living with a disability.
Correct.
And given that this is somebody you know, it is better said I'm injured than I'm a person living with disability. And that is what Mr. Makola is saying. There is no problem presenting the documents, but it is wrong to lie. The intention was to lie.
To comment on that, Honorable Vice Chair, the presentation was not that she was a person with a disability. The document we have even provided to this Honorable Committee is that it was a normal injury, not associated with disability.
And for normal injury, that's why we needed a permanent driver. That help me understand that.
If somebody is injured and they are not able to move around, you cannot dismiss them because somebody is injured. So the best way is to facilitate, and the board and the government and the institutions have the ability to facilitate the movement of a member. So I don't see anything wrong with
Through the
that.
chair, if somebody is injured, why is why wasn't she given sick leave?
I presume you cannot be on a sick leave forever. Otherwise, you'd stand out of the job.
But if
So she requested for the driver for how long?
If I got the earlier presentation, and which, because the document I don't have here, she had indicated that it was, I think, for 3 months only.
Yeah, that is not true, and I speak from the inside. What is coming out is, I think you've been stuffed with facts. You have not been given very many facts. If, for example, you ask for the minutes of that same day, they will speak a lot to, and the language used, you know. And we don't give contracts for 3 months, by the way. And if you are given the document that put the son into employment, I think the contract will have to run for 3 years.
Then because you are inside and you are saying it was for 3 years, then we go by your assertion that the contract was for 3 years, Mr. Makola.
Yes, that would be true, but that is employment. In any case, even myself serves on contract. Yeah. So
That's fine. And then we were
Through the
proceeding.
chair.
Yes, sure. Go on.
In the morning, we were told that the son was on contract. Cecilia requested for the driver for 2 months. Now we are being told by the same group of representatives that it was for 3 months. Which one is true?
I believe, Honorable Chair, the challenge we have is that, as we had indicated, that the minutes are not available. Even Mr. Makola is referring to minutes which he doesn't have. So, given an opportunity and time, we can access them and we be available with the correct information. But the truth is, he was employed as a driver.
Through the chair, that is the truth the advocates wants to hear. But the fact is, and the question here is, the employment of this staff, was it procedural?
As we had answered in the morning, this was first of all necessitated by the injury, and secondly, being a self driver, then my understanding is that they were allowed, with the approval of the board, to have the driver employed. And remember that the word used is self, not any other driver.
But
Chair,
the question is, yeah, there is the aspect of the need of a driver to personally drive the commissioner. But there is the practice and the guidelines of acquiring services by the board. Was the process followed? And at the same time, why did the said commissioner give conditions to the board of who to employ?
I don't agree that they gave conditions. The suggestion, or rather it was preferred that this being the son to the commissioner, she will be more comfortable having a self-driver in the circumstances.
Chair,
Seriously?
Kindly allow, yeah, sure. Go ahead, Honorable. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Couldn't Madam Makola be referring to a meeting that was held on a Friday, 26th February 2021, and in attendance there was we went Stella Mudhoka as chairperson. There was John Kumbo as a member, Cecilia Mbinya as a member, and Musela Makola in attendance, Jane Mutune in attendance. Then the secretary was also there. And in minute 273 stroke 2 stroke 2021, it's an agenda appointment of a driver for the vice chairperson. Could it be that one? Then I can see from that, although the name is not so well legible, but the committee noted that the vice chairperson, County Public Service Board, and written a letter dated 13th April 2020, addressed to the chair with an attachment of a medical report supporting a Kudid driver herself. With the, I'll not read some of the letters because they are not legible. With the vice chairperson, who is the user of the driver, being appointed, that is Honorable Samson Sereka, to be appointed as personal driver to the vice chair on a 3 years, on a term of 3 years, to job group D, effective after approval by the full board. Could it be the one you are referring to?
Those are the minutes, and much more is also contained. But yeah, those are the documents for that day.
Okay.
Thank you. Before we wind up, there's still the minutes the chair just read for us. We can't see any declaration of interests from Ms. Serenka.
Chair, unfortunately, I'm following from what the honorable member is reading, but I have not seen them. So, as we had also submitted earlier, that the commissioner declared conflict of interest, and the instructions are that she even signed the necessary book for declaration of conflict.
But Wakili, there is something probably I'm not understanding. Much as I'm not a lawyer, neither am I a judge, but is it true that a person accused is provided with evidence? Is it, does that happen just as you are insinuating that you ought to have those minutes with you, probably from the petitioner?
Yes, Honorable Member. If you look at Article 49 of the Constitution and 50, which all encompass fair hearing, any person who is accused of any wrongdoing must be supplied not only with the allegations but also the evidence in support of those allegations. And in this instance, it includes the minutes and all other documents that the committee is relying on.
Well, but me, I want to believe that I'm very much aware that this county assembly has a petition that was to be heard today, and what was served was only the allegations and the prayers from the petitioner. But we couldn't be provided with evidence. So I don't understand. For me, I don't understand now that language that we ought to have supplied you with the evidence before you come. I don't understand that, Chair.
Thank you.
But through the chair, as the Wakili insists about not have been supplied with with information, when you were summoned and you saw the allegations, you came to represent and defend. But the question is, you are ready to defend and represent without the information. So
I confirm that I got the instructions on late Friday, and you cannot be summoned by such a honorable committee and you fail to turn up. It would be wrong. So either way, we have to attend and inform you about what we have and what we don't have.
Then the point would be, you have attended, yes, but because you are not prepared, you be given more time to prepare than saying the offices are locked.
What, sorry, do you want to answer that one? Or you can't answer?
Madam Chair, if you allow me, the Wakili, I heard him say that he's aware that Cecilia Sereka signed all the places where that requirement is. You said there is a book. I want to say here that we do not have such, because I'm in that office, and this is not the only case of conflict of interest that she may have had to sign if there was somewhere to sign. Because we are talking of Samson. The other case we are talking about Boniface. We are also talking about Regina, who is the daughter for the chair. All those cases are similar in terms of conflict of interest, and we do not have any book that exists in our office.
Mr. Kola, the Wakili is very fond of using this word of that the offices, they cannot access the office because they are closed. As a commissioner, can you access the office yourself?
Yes, we can. We have been open. Even before I came here in the morning, I was in the office at 7:30.
Are the offices open?
They are open and operational.
So, Wakili, what is this you've been taking us around telling us offices are locked? He is a commissioner and he can access. There's a difference between refusing to go to office and being denied access to the office. Let me ask you another question, Mr. Wakola. Are these four being denied access to the office?
No one has denied them access. In fact, the other commissioner is also in the office as we speak, and the secretariat.
So do you have any proof that somebody has written to them telling them to keep off the office and never to be seen there?
The only evidence of the four being denied entry to the office, we have attached a report to the police where they had complained about the happenings. And the information I have is that they have not been allowed back.
Madam Chair, I take it that we have a commissioner here who serves in that public service. He can access office. I think we need to do away with that lie from the lawyer that they cannot access it. That's a lie.
Actually, I wanted to ask, in terms of they'll be denied access to their offices. Is there any a letter requesting to be allowed to access those, if at all there was a denial of access to the offices? Is there a letter that you guys either wrote to us or wrote to any involved parties to allow them to access their offices?
Chair,
He answers, Chair. And also to add on that question, you are talking of what these happenings. What are these happenings that you're talking of that are denying them to be in the office?
Chair, there is a court case involving the four commissioners and the executive, which is accused of blocking and chasing them from office. And probably the happenings, why I can see the witness, Mr. Makola, is available all through. So that probably could inform why some are in office and the rest are not in office. So Mr. Makola, I hope if he wants to be honest, he can confirm that there was an instance where some members and staff were barred from the office. And the court case we are referring to even has not been responded by the executive as we speak. So as things stand, the allegations by the four commissioners remains unrebutted in that court case.
Okay, thank you, members. We need to go to the
I
next.
have a question.
Please, just the last one, please.
The last one?
Yes, please.
You have said 4 commissioners, and some staffs. How many staffs?
Chair, if there's the affidavit we filed in the morning, if you look at the last document, it lists all the persons from that office who had an issue, and therefore it's not that it's an allegation I'm giving from the bar. There is a list with the police.
Chairman, last question, please. According to you, what is the definition? Can I read for you a definition of nepotism?
Yes, you can.
Nepotism is the practice among those with power or influence of favoring relatives or friends, especially by giving them jobs. According to that definition, do you think Cecilia Sereka, by employing 2 of our sons without following due process, practiced nepotism?
Honorable member, not at all, because with Boniface, he was employed by the office of the deputy governor. So the process started in a different office through delegated power. And the other son, we have outlined the circumstances. So, Chair, we cannot say that there was nepotism.
Okay, thank you, members. We'll proceed to the next commissioner. Would you kindly allow me? These particulars of the allegations against Ms. Stella Ndinda Muthoka, a member of the Machakos County Public Service Board. That Stella Ndinda Muthoka, the member of the Machakos County Public Service Board, be removed from the office per Section 58, Sabbatical 5 of the County Government Act number 17 of 2012, as read with Article 251, Sabbatical 1, Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, on the grounds whose particulars are stated here below. 1. Serious violation of the Constitution, County Governments Act 2012, Public Officers Ethic Acts 2012, and other laws. A. Abused your office by using your office to improperly confer a benefit to the vice chairperson's son. That Stella Ndinda Muthoka has violated Article 10 and 73 Sub-Article 2A of the Constitution on selection on the basis of personal integrity, competence and suitability, and Section 46 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act 2003. Roman 1, that Stella Ndinda Muthoka, as the chairperson of the Recruitment and Selection Committee, which during a meeting of 26th February 2021 approved the appointment of a driver for the vice chairperson, Ms. Cecilia Mbinya Sereka, one Samson Sereka, on job group D. The position had not been advertised. Samson Sereka is the son to Ms. Cecilia Mbinya Sereka, hence conflict of interest. That on 26th February 2021, under minute 273/02/2021, chaired by Stella Ndinda Muthoka, under minute number 293/03/2021, the Recruitment and Selection Committee deliberated on the matter of appointment of a driver. This was based on misrepresentation that the vice chairperson was a PWD. The committee recommended a personal driver to serve with the official car allocated to her by the chairman, KBX 810T. No certificate from Council of Persons Living with Disability was presented to warrant for appointment of a personal driver. That Stella Ndinda Muthoka had been involved in undertakings of the Machakos County Public Service Board, where there was abuse of office, misappropriation of public funds through A. Approval of extraneous allowances for specific officers, yet the officers working on normal office hours and perform the duties listed in the appointment letters. Failure to promote equity in the county public service. That Stella Ndinda Muthoka has violated Article 236, Sabbatical B, Part B of the Constitution of Kenya, Section 68A of the County Governments Act Number 17 of 2012 on promotion of equity by the County Public Service Boards, Section 22 of the Public Officer Ethics Acts, which requires that public officers should be selected on the basis of integrity, competence, and suitability by Roman 1, involved in recruitment of officers without following the right criteria. And that's the case of Samson Sereka, who was recruited without an advertisement. Involvement in promotion of officers without following the provisions of the existing laws and circulars. That is appointment of 65 officers even after a report of the County Assembly had put on hold all internal and external recruitments. Roman 3, involvement in recruitment of 5 extra officers against an advertisement of 21 positions, 20 medical officers and 1 general surgeon. The advertisement closed on 23rd May 2021. After the closure of the exercise, 4 medical officers and 1 surgeon were added to the list, making a total of 26. This violates Article 73, Sabbatical 2, Part C, Roman 1 of the Constitution on honesty in execution of public duties. Part C, failure to evaluate and report on the County Assembly on the extent to which the values and principles referred to in Article 10 and 232 of the Constitution are complied with in the county public service. That Stella Ndinda Muthoka has violated Section 59 Sabbatical 1 F of the County Governments Act 2012 that requires the board to report on the extent to which the values and principles referred to in Articles 10 and 232 are compiled with to the County Assembly. The member of the County Public Service Board has presided over a board that has never reported to the County Assembly on the extent to which the values and principles referred in Articles 10 and 232 are compiled with to the County Assembly. Part 2, or rather number 2, gross misconduct, involvement in irregular and recruitment processes. That Stella Ndinda Muthoka has violated Article 10, 73 Sabbatical 2, Part A and 232 of the Constitution on selection on the basis of personal integrity, competence and suitability, and Section 46 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act 2003. That on 26th February 2021 under Minute 273/02/2021, chaired by Stella Ndinda Muthoka, the Recruitment and Selection Committee deliberated on the matter of appointment of a driver. This was based on representation that the vice chairperson was a person living with a disability. The committee recommended a personal driver to serve the official car allocated to her by the chairman, KBX 810T. No certificate from Council of Persons Living with Disability was presented to warrant for appointment of a personal driver. Roman 2, appointment of Mr. Joseph Wambu as the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the County Public Service Board, yet such office does not exist in the Constitution and the County Governments Acts. This is misuse of public funds, gross misconduct, and violation of Chapter 6 of the Constitution. Roman 3, involvement in reinstating 4 officers claiming that there was a court order to that effect, but none existed. The said officers had never been in the county's payroll, and the CECM, Public Service Head, communicated the same. Mr. Franklin, would you kindly let us know what was the role of Stella Ndinda Muthoka in the board, on the board?
Let me clarify whether it is a role in the issues you've read or generally.
Generally.
Generally, Stella is a member, was brought in as a member just like me, but right from the word go, she took up the responsibility of chairing recruitment selection committee, a creation that they did. When I say they did, it's, it was a creation because there's nowhere it's captured in law. So she has been central to everything. She had chaired each and everything that has happened in the board, as you've read.
Thank you. Members?
The chair, are there advantages of that position of recruitment officer?
I think yes and no. Yes, because she succeeds in like the divisions in the board. Our work is primarily the human resource, populating the civil service in the county. And if now you divide the board, that means you make sure Makola never participates and you and the others. So unless, if we just don't look at it in terms of those small things, those are not very positive, then I really do not know why they have to resort to that.
Okay, thank you. Was there any other position that was created for other members of the commission apart from this one?
There was. When we came in, the leadership, and I mean the chair appeared to have been having a way of how he wants to come and, lead the board. And what I think was in his mind was the divide and rule, such that he came with the idea of committees, and when you are put into committees, you realize some people will have been denied the responsibilities that they came to do in the board, and that to the members of the board, it is very sweet music to some of them, and a very bitter pill to some others. So I think that kind of divide and rule is what the chair came in with. That is why you find, now the recruitment committee, it has committed all the things that you hear, and when the blame comes, they expect, now the law puts the blame kind of on all the members, because no one or two or three can claim to be the board. The board must be as it was constituted by the governor, through a gazette notice.
Okay, thank you. Another question before he finishes. Is still Samson Sireka under contract or in permanent employment at the public service, or is he not anywhere in this county?
Incidentally, that particular one, after the contract of 3 years, I can't say I quite know what is happening to him at the moment. And you can expect, since when the disagreements started coming up, it is easy to hide information, especially when you have a secretary like the one we have, who is custodian of all the documents. What could be available are the complaints I put on the table that time, and it was easy to hide the documents. So I know the contract is not over, but I don't know where Samson is working.
Thank you.
Just on that, Mr. Franklin, can you explain to us any, what we will quote unquote, personally you've been omitted as part of the board? What are some of the consequences you might have gone through as a part of being on that board, and sometimes disagreeing with their mandates, or maybe with what the activities that has been happening?
Yeah, you see, okay, this is my thinking. When you apply for this job, you have an agenda that might be different from the others. And when I applied for this job, I had come to serve the people of Machakos in general, because that's what I'm supposed to do. But now when you look at the agendas of the others, like in the morning I quoted the law that prohibits somebody who was in those offices to be appointed. What I realized very quickly is that these people were there before, they had a lot to hide. And in a situation whereby, like you assumed to have freedom to reach everywhere, to reach every file, because you want to do the job that you came to do, and that person now takes the direction of hiding that information from you. So disagreement sets in very quickly. And that is why the 2 years have been very frustrating, and not just for me, for many. It's only that now, we are speaking at our level, but I am sure the suffering in that board stretches very far.
Yes, through the chair. Talk to us about this Joseph Wambua and the role of Stella and Dinda in it.
Joseph Wambua, I presume you're talking about the deputy acting secretary or something like that.
Yes, yes.
You see, Stella, Wambua was there before, just like the secretary. And Stella is one of those people who found comfort very quickly in that group. Reasons I don't know why. So the fact that she could now join a group that is committing all these, the things that's listed today, I cannot find her innocence anywhere.
So is there a position of deputy CEO in the board?
It is not there. It is not there, but I have realized myself through my own research that these are titles, and it's not limited to Wambua. They are created in the books. They are created, but they are not in the organogram, so to speak. And they serve a larger purpose. Because like what was happening, Wambua would sign as acting deputy, those things there. And again, you will be signing on behalf of another acting somebody. And the effect of that, what they are signing, when you look at the other side, you realize quite a few people have been given extraneous allowance and many other things. So it's a criminal enterprise. To put
What
it
do you
in
mean?
somebody.
What do you mean a criminal enterprise?
I mean, people
I
congregate.
think, Chair, with your permission, I think Makola needs to use some civil language when he's referring to
Let him explain to
other
us.
commissioners. He can explain that in a better language.
Sure, yeah,
Yes,
cover-
Mr. Makola.
Master
What
Wakola,
better
thank
words will you use to substitute criminal enterprise?
I don't know, because I don't know a lot of English, but you see, people who always congregate to do bad, yeah, and I have told them before, because we are there together, it's a fellowship that is not praising anything that you can call good. And with this kind of evidence, sometimes you get tired, and the only reason that I am there is that I want to save. I want to do my bit, because these are people who don't care. Yeah.
Will it be wrong to call it a fellowship of wrongdoers?
Yeah, that could be close.
Yeah, I think, Wakili, you okay with that?
That could.
Okay, Mr. Franklin, let me ask you this. You are disassociating yourself from many board decisions. Do you normally register your dissension in all these matters?
Yes, it is always in writing. In fact, I thank the council who gave me that very wise. Because whenever anything is happening, I chose to put my opinion, my everything in written form, and I share through the email.
And also on that, why do you remain in the board if you are not able to be effective?
I said because I came to serve, you know, and my deeper self would tell me that this thing cannot continue for long. That's the only reason.
Through the chair, as you understand, Mr. Franklin Makola, the Machakos County is leading with the wage bill, balloon wage bill in Kenya. If we waive the extraneous allowance of the employees that are being awarded this extraneous allowance, will you tell this committee that the wage bill of Machakos will go back even to less than that 5%?
Yes, good. Well, I cannot maybe guarantee about the less than 35%, but I feel I'm very comfortable to say that if the correct measures are taken, in 2-3 months, the third month from now, you would have saved close to 1.5 billion in a year.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Chair, Bana Franklin, for me, I served in the second assembly,
Yes.
in this county assembly, and I want to understand that you were all using the same platform of controlling the bloated wage bill of this county. Has there been any attempt by the board to check on the bloated county government's wage bill? Do you think there has been some efforts?
It has never been there, and it has never been there an effort to do anything. And when you look at, I do remember one time the chair asked to go, I don't know, somewhere, leave or something. Then there was a claim that the vice chair wanted to be paid allowances to act. And I'm one of those people who even read, the regulations that, first and foremost, you cannot act in the place of chair when you were not hired as one, because even the requirements are different, and you must have qualification to even act. Number two, and because it's also provided, the board, when one is away, anybody can step in. That is provided for, and that still does not mean any money is being paid. But there was a lot of heated exchange between now the fellowship on that side and the other side. And the question was, and I put it in writing, that instead of us talking about the wage bill, somebody seated there was supposed to be checking on that. Is herself now there claiming, and wrongly so, that she should be paid? That is the spirit within that fellowship, which I don't belong. So there has not been any effort. In last year, 2021, November, our wage bill was 55.4%. This June, it was 61% as reported. And there's a lot of what was not even captured in the 61. I would expect it now to be climbing very close to 70, which is very unfortunate.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, my last short is, how many, you said about 1,000 are enjoying extraneous allowance.
Yeah.
How many staff do you think are being promoted irregularly? Like in 2 months, 2 years, or 1 year, they jump several groups, job groups?
You see, like even in this year, there was an attempt, and not just an attempt, because the deal was pulled through. It is now in the payroll. There was round about 100 senior positions, job group P, job group N, you know, like that. And, you know, these are people who knew is an election year. And when you get down to investigate that, you'll find the facts very clear. So that alone has also added into our wage bill very considerably. And to come back very close to your question, you see, in the midst of the people we are talking about promotions, there are those who deserve, there are those who are due, but majority of whom don't get it. And because it ends up concentrated on people who don't deserve. Because like I've just said, somebody who are supposed to be in job group M, you are put through a shortcut to job group P. The amount we are talking in between there is a lot of money. Because job group M and job group P, you could be talking of over 50,000 to each person. Again, if those people are like 1,000, you are talking about 600 million plus per year. So that's the kind of scenario we have here.
Thank you.
Chair, just one last question to Franklin. Franklin, this counter assembly, that is the second counter assembly,
Yeah.
and put on hold all internal and external recruitments until the assembly receives and considers the report in recommendation number 6 above. Number 6 above was stating that pending the comprehensive audit of the entire county public service, the board should provide the assembly with the organogram for county offices, departments, and as well as the county public service board. In addition, provide details of all staff occupying the positions in the organogram. The details in a tabular form should include name, qualification, job group designation, date of appointment, workstation, and basic pay within 60 days. The organograms should be provided in a report that includes each department's wage bill. Now, that being the recommendations, do you think did the board went ahead and recruited more employees? Do you think? Did you?
Yes, they did.
They
Yes,
did.
they did. In fact, they ignored that.
There is a staff recruitment of after May 2022.
Yes, and you said I call them what? That fellowship. They conducted even interviews. I was not there. There's another commissioner who was also not there. The 4 of them participated against now this. And all those people were put into the payroll. And indeed, when you meet them, ask them now their trip to Israel was about what? It was a reward. Yeah, ask them whether Makola was there, and if not, why. Yeah, so I mean, it's a situation that we have.
Thank you. Wakili, please, the floor is yours.
Just a few clarification from Mr. Makola. Mr. Makola, you have not taken responsibility for any board meeting. Are you telling this committee that you never attended those meetings?
No, that I haven't taken responsibility is not true. I took the responsibility of blowing it out for help. The whistle blow. Yes.
When the board is sitting, I heard you tell the members that you used to write down your dissenting opinion.
Yes.
Do you have an example of the same so that we can really agree with you? Because I have not seen any with you.
I may not have here, but I'm sure the many papers I have around, if I check, I can't miss to have. 'Cause what I am telling you is what exactly I have done.
You have assured the committee that you are still in office. So
Yes.
the documents are there. Why could you come with them?
They are even in my car, not even the office. I have a car.
You have
outside
them in
here.
the car.
Yes, and many of them. Which one do you want?
I presume we are not sitting in the car.
Chairman, I think you need to protect. You need to protect the member from commissioner.
You have also talked about promotions which you have really attacked. Are you informing the honorable committee that the promotions were not on merit?
Yeah, it was not on merit.
They were not on merit.
Yeah.
All of them.
In fact, I've gotten one just for an example.
All of them, they were not on merit.
Most of them were not.
Most of them.
Yeah.
What do you have, Chairman?
Chairman, for the
Mr.
defense,
Makola has.
for the defense of for Mr. Makola,
He seemed to have.
Wakili, Mr. Makola has told you categorically that there were subcommittees in the board.
Yes, and I was
And
to ask
those sensitive committees, Mr. Makola was not factored in. So, what you are demanding from him may not come forth.
you see, Chair, if he says that, then he has to prove to the committee that the allegation is correct. I understand there were, I think about, is it 4 subcommittees there? There was recruitment, there was career progression, there is audit. I can't remember the other one. So you have never chaired either of those subcommittees?
I did originally, and when I realized what was happening on the other side, I refused.
You refused?
Yes.
And you have talked about the wage bill, because I'm sure the members are also concerned about the wage bill. As a member, are you aware of any filings with the assembly with respect to, or rather in compliance with Article 10, the values and all listed there? Are you aware of any report filed by the board?
Filed
By the Public Service Board of the county. Are you aware of any report filed advising the assembly, as one of the honorable members asked?
In the morning, I don't know whether you were here,
Yes, I was here.
and you must have heard me say, I had myself come across such a report, which I went through, purportedly coming from our place. And what I told this house, which I still, which I repeat, is that the contents of that report, in my view, were very distorted. We are just now to, you know, the contents did not reflect what we do there. That's what I said.
All right, they may be not up to what you want, but at least there was a report. Lastly, are you aware of any other employee in the county who either, say, a son, a daughter, a husband, a wife, they are working in the county? Are you aware of any other than the Cecilia you have quite mentioned, and the chair, Luca?
You know, I mentioned Cecilia and Luca because they have a responsibility, which we share. So I mean, the people who work in Machakos and they have a right are sons and daughters of Machakos. Their parents are here.
The question is, are you aware of, say, an example of another employee, say Makola, and then he has either a son, a wife, or a daughter working with the county competitively? Are you aware of any?
Yes, I am.
That's all.
Why
The
don't you ask?
person here.
And we will be relying on the response unless there is any other query.
Through the chair, I want to ask the advocate representing the team. We came here in an effort to weigh the weight of the board, and I can see that aspect of Samson Sorenga, so that driver. The minutes reads clearly. They were going to appoint. They were not going to recruit. At what point did this minute change from appointing to recruiting? Because I believe it is a matter of appointing. They should have taken a driver within the county. How comes they chose to get a driver from outside?
As we had explained earlier, the circumstances of the employment of this driver, we'll call it recruitment, call it employment, was the circumstances were quite different, because as we explained, it was a self driver. So taking all the circumstances that we have really highlighted since morning, then I believe we have sufficiently explained to the committee that this was necessitated by the circumstances and the injury associated with Cecilia.
My question is, well, if they were going to appoint, because I believe there's a very big difference between appointing and recruiting. How come? The minute reads very well. It was going to appoint a driver for the injured or the person living with disability. But now, here comes a case, they are recruiting.
The issue here also is failure to declare conflict of interest. Failure to declare conflict of interest. That to me is the most important part. And my last question is to Makola. Have you ever petitioned this assembly on that fellowship of wrongdoers, highlighting the issues they've been doing?
Yes, I have.
Do you have a document to that effect?
Yes.
Could you read it to us?
So Chair, now I think we would now be setting into a dangerous path, because now if Mr. Makola can be pulling out documents at the end of the proceedings, we have been with him here in the morning.
We haven't finished the proceeding. I just want to hear that part. Allow me to hear that has he petitioned? It is important so that we know that he has been the guardian angel in that.
Yes, Chair, but we,
No,
as he confirms, we wish to register our objection to
fine, that you can register, no issue.
Yes.
But I am asking him, not you. Mr. Makola, do you have any document to show that you petitioned against what they've been doing?
Yes, and to the Wakili, you know, it's like during the last elections when there was a petition, you had some commissioners being asked, when you saw the problem, there is a problem, what did you do? So this is just to show what I did, and that is the strength I had as of then, that I didn't sit back and just watch.
Kindly proceed.
Just highlight the subjects in those so that they go on record.
Oh, this was 23rd February 2022, and I dropped this to the clerk, County Assembly of Machakos, and the subject was a petition for removal of the chairman of the County Public Service Board of Machakos. That is George Kioko Luka. I have another one, the same date. Yes, 1st March 2022, a petition for removal of a member, the secretary of the county public service board. And the third one, 23rd February, was a petition for removal of a member, county public service board. That was Cecilia. And I couldn't do this without evidence. It's only that now the assembly, the second assembly, their time ran out, and I was hoping to have this assembly listen to the same.
Thank you, members. I think it has been a great day, and I want to say thank you for all the contributions and the discussions that we've had, and to all the witnesses who have shown up today. Before we wind up, allow me to go through the memorandum on investigation of 3 members of Machakos County Public Service Board and the secretary to the Machakos Public Service Board. Reference is hereby made to the recent notification on the above matter appearing on the Standard newspaper dated 17th of November 2022. I wish state that the Machakos County Public Service Board has been running in full disregard of the law and relevant regulations. In the month of February 2022, the Machakos County Public Service Board raised an internal advertisement of various positions for the Department of County Treasury and appointed unqualified persons contrary to the advert and the relevant scheme of service. Well, in view of the above, listed persons were irregularly appointed, and it is my prayer that this committee will serve justice to the people of Machakos through nullification of this and any other irregular appointments. As such, the Machakos County Public Service Board should be made answerable of such malpractices contrary to Section 22 of the Public Officers Ethics Act 2003. The Secretary to the Machakos County Public Service Board has proven to be incompetent and negligent in his performance of duty contrary to Section 8 and 9 of the Public Officers Ethics Act 2003. Mr. Makola, would you like to recommend anything or say something?
Very sure, it's like you caught me off guard. Is that the same or another?
We have received it today.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, and that you can see it captures what in fact I've just been talking about. I don't know, what am I supposed to, which way am I supposed to answer?
Just make a comment.
Would you mind if I ask you to read it?
Okay.
Please. Yeah.
That's okay. This memorandum on investigation of 3 members of Machakos County Public Service Board and the secretary to the Machakos Public Service Board. Reference is hereby made to the recent notification on the above matter appearing on the Standard newspaper dated 17th November 2022. I wish to state that the Machakos County Public Service Board has been running in full disregard of the law and relevant regulations. In the month of February 2022, the Machakos County Public Service Board raised an internal advertisement of various positions for the Department of the County Treasury and appointed unqualified persons contrary to the advert and the relevant scheme of service. Below is the list of individuals who were appointed, the relevant clauses of advertisement and scheme of service, together with the qualifications that the board floated in the recruitment. 1, we have Deputy Accountant General from Job Group R, Deputy Audit General from Job Group R, Senior Assistant Accountant General, Senior Assistant Accountant General, Deputy Director, that's Job Group Q, Senior Assistant Director of Budget, Job Group Q, Assistant Accountant General, Job Group P, Assistant Audit General, Job Group P, And in view of the above listed persons were irregularly appointed, and it is my prayer that this committee will serve justice to the people of Machakos through nullification of this and any other irregular appointments. As such, the Machakos County Public Service Board should be made answerable of such malpractices contrary to Section 22 of the Public Officers Ethics Act 2003. The Secretary of the Machakos County Public Service Board has proven to be incompetent and incompetent and negligent in his performance of duty contrary to Section 8 and 9 of the Public Officers Ethics Act 2003. Any comment?
Yes, I would want to comment. Really, I don't know where that would have come from, but really he's talking the way you have been talking. It is true, and very correctly, that the exercise that was being, in fact, that is the exercise that had been stopped by the second assembly. And that is the one I have just said, that when people thought the assembly has gone broken up to go and campaign, the exercise was carried on. And in fact, I would expect that to be, is what I was saying is those people are very many. So yes, it was committed. The offense was committed, and you see now where we find ourselves, because now it looks like it's the whole board, and that is why I've been saying there is a fellowship on the other side who don't care. To the extent they talk about the board operating unprofessionally, yes, but it's not all of all the members. You can see members who have been struggling only, but they've been the minority. So yes, the board must take responsibility. Only I pray that the same committee, just like the petitioner there, will look at, we'll place responsibility where it is. And yeah, because it was not all of us involved. Interviews were done, and after the exercise, yes, people who performed well in the impunity were rewarded with a trip to Israel. Those are details that are there. They went and came back. Yes, and each person should carry his own cross for the sake of Machakos.
Thank you so much, Mr. Franklin. To Wakili, any comments or final words?
Just a clarification. Is that claim part of what we were dealing with in the morning?
Yes.
Because that seems to be something different.
That was just a petition.
Chairman,
And who has filed the petition? Because we have no knowledge.
Chairman, we invited members of public who have any information against the four to come forward. And I think this is the result of that.
So if
So-
it's one of them, that's fine.
Yes.
Lastly, we reiterate our responses, and if the board was to be found guilty, for example, you have seen there is Makola and the other member who have decided to sit aside, and the information I have, I don't know whether Mr. Makola can respond to that, is that you have been promised amnesty to be a witness to this committee. And
No, Chairman.
lastly,
Chairman, I want to stop the lawyer from trying to insinuate
Look,
things. Okili, please, let's confine ourselves to, we have done very well. Let us not create a scenario which is not there. I think that is very wrong for you to insinuate that.
then in other terms, then the reason why because that is the information had been given by these 4 accused person. That aside, we pray that the committee looks into the allegations, considers all the evidence on merit, and grant them fair and justice, which every accused person is entitled to. Let the committee, which I have faith in, be impartial, and let us get a final report.
Well, thank you so much, members. Without further ado, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much.